All right, so I'm finally diving into HBO's The Gilded Age. I know. Season 1 aired back in like 2022, so I'm 2 years late to the game. But I'm starting from the very beginning with Season 1, Episode 1, titled Never the New, which first aired on January 24th, 2022. I'm watching each one and giving you my honest, unfiltered take. So let's get into it. This is Bluntberry Reviews. Smart, sharp, and just a little savage. We break down movies, shows, and everything in between, telling you what's worth the hype and certainly what's not. The first episode wastes no time laying the groundwork. It opens with a wide shot of the streets and the grand homes, the perfect stage for the battles between old money and new money building a grand and giant home on the other side. This is the perfect visual juxtaposition for the story that is about to unfold. You meet people in quick beats, already getting a sense of who plays by the rules, who bends them, and who's here to win. We meet Marian Brooks just as her life falls apart. Her father dies, and she learns that she's left with nothing. It's true to late 19th century fashion. The rumor is he kept the finances hidden while drinking, chasing women, and living way beyond his means. Now she's broke and must sell everything that she can in order to leave for New York, where her two estranged aunts live. Agnes Van Ryan, one of Marian's aunts, is pure old money and full of pride. Strict, blunt, and obsessed with appearances. Ada Brooks, the other aunt, is gentle but still tuned into the social hierarchy of New York. They live together and have been at the top of the social circle for decades. They are part of old money New York, as they say, the old money New York society, and have set the tone for the city. Across the street, you've got George and Bertha Russell. They are brand new money and not pretending otherwise. George is a railroad tycoon who is ruthless in his pursuits for expanding his business and that railroad. Bertha, on the other hand, his wife, is into climbing the social circle in New York to the highest seat, which is probably more perilous than trying to run a railroad industry. Their mansion screams for attention as it's the biggest property on the block with a ballroom. Living with them is their handsome son, Larry Russell. He's charming, confident, more laid back about the social climbing his mother is obsessed with. He's sociable, enjoys the privilege of wealth, and tends to move easily between old and new money circles without the same chip on his shoulder Bertha has. Gladys Russell, the daughter, is young, sheltered, still under her mother's tight control. Bertha wants to debut her in society at the perfect moment to secure the best possible match. So Gladys' social circle is carefully managed, sometimes to her own frustration. Before Marian even gets to her new home, her train ticket is stolen in what I perceive as a staged brawl at the train station. That's where she meets Peggy Scott, who ends up with a torn dress as a result of Marian's escape attempt from the brawl. Losing her ticket, Peggy offers to cover the costs and has her traveling in coach, steerage, if you will, and is quickly promised to be reimbursed once they're back in New York. I like this turn of events. A black woman, presumably lower in society's standards, paying for Marian, but neither of them seemed bothered at the time by this exchange. They just needed to both get to New York. They both had their issues and their stories, and they kind of blended together in that moment in time. Peggy's sharp and composed, fully aware of the way race and class limit her options in New York, but also knows how to play the role. When they arrive, the Van Ryan staff aren't sure about Peggy, a black woman, assuming she's not just passing through, but potentially there to replace one of them. This gets some mixed reactions, some of them even giving her a cold shoulder. Classic to the times, Peggy handles things with finesse. Having been there 2 nights now, Peggy is offered a job by Agnes when she discovers that she has been educated and has excellent penmanship. She's charged with helping Agnes with her correspondence, and suddenly, she's not only staying, she's working there. The episode cuts to a scene where Larry, Bertha's son, connects with Oscar Van Ryan, Agnes' son, at a croquet game, an event in a sport that's really just an excuse to size each other up socially. This scene seems to exist to show that Larry has no issues connecting with old money, no hang-ups, just really socially engaging, even if he doesn't run in the same circles. Unlike the scene where Peggy visits her mother, Dorothy, at the Scott's family home in Brooklyn, it's a comfortable, middle-class black household, a clear contrast to the old money Manhattan world where Peggy now works. It's tense from the start, the meeting between Peggy and her mother. Clearly there's an issue, an elephant in the room. Something has happened between Peggy and her father, who she refuses to see, and her mother's not picking sides according to her. But what the issue is was not revealed in this episode. Later in the day, Marian and Larry officially meet when Larry arrives back at the palatial house. Marian, looking on, noticing him, loses control of her dog, who runs into the street. Noticing, Larry takes off in saving mode, quickly rescuing the dog before it's trampled by a coach. I feel like this scene is the beginning of a lot of interaction and strife. The classic Romeo and Juliet, where Marian is old money on one side of the street and Larry is new money on the other. The story moves quickly, which focuses on Bertha's plans for a party designed to lure all the social elites to her house, but focuses really on trying to get Miss Caroline Astor, the reigning queen of society, into her orbit. The event is loaded with red carpet, candelabras, flowers, everything you could throw at high society. And here's where the show quickly explains its title. The real Gilded Age, historically, was a time when wealth and progress looked glamorous from the surface, but often hiding inequality, corruption, and scandal underneath. That's exactly what you see here. The old money crowd publicly snubbing new money while privately wanting their influence. For the party, Marian did sneak out against her aunt's wishes to pay her respects, although I suspect it was mostly to see Larry again. During this visit, we see that Bertha's big night is a flop. Far fewer guests than she expected. Not even Agnes from across the street attended. Bertha's sad and dejected. She tried to salvage her dignity by donating her untouched food to charity, which feels more like optics than generosity. Before the episode wraps, we did learn why the aunts and Marian's father were so distant. She didn't like the man, her own brother, because he sold off property from the family, forcing her into a bad marriage with a man her sister calls unsafe to be alone with. The episode ends with Oscar returning to the city and to Jack Trotter for a surprise reveal. They're lovers, which has to be scandalous all on its own in those days, making sense to why Jack brushed Marian off earlier in the show. If this opener is any sign, season 1 is setting up a chess match where both sides, old money and new money, are more than willing to play dirty. Stay tuned as the next podcast